Hi, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Liv.
And this is the Mach-E vlog. Today we're standing in front of a Mustang Mach-E GT Performance Edition, and we're super excited to check this out and compare it to our Mach-E First Edition.
So let's go.
So inside the Mach-E GT Performance Edition, it has some different stitching. The seats are different. We'll show you a little bit more of the seats. There's a different sort of texture to the dash here. This is like a suede, but of course it's a vegan interior, so it's a fake suede, but it feels very, very nice. Wonder how that will hold up over time. It says GT, of course, on the center console. But those are the major differences. It feels very at home after having our first edition for 8-9 months now. So feels pretty much exactly the same, but minor differences inside. The key differences are underneath.
Yeah, like Patrick said, the texturing on the dash is certainly, I think, the first thing that stands out to me. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is so beautiful. I don't know about you, but I really like this.
It's very nice, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the suede personally. It feels like something I could damage a little bit more, but I really do like the seats. The seats feel extremely comfortable. There's a lot more bolstering, both sort of like around your rib cage and then also shoulder bolstering, which is really nice.
Now the headrest is not adjustable. How does that feel to you?
It feels all right, but I do think that having some flexibility on that would be beneficial. So that's unfortunate.
So the glass roof, you don't have to get it on the GT, but it's part of the package that gives you the Copilot 360 and BlueCruise. So if you want that, you have to package it together. You know how automakers do that type of thing. As you can see, there's not a ton of visual differences between the premiums and the GT, but the big differences are underneath. The GT, of course, has a lot more horsepower. It's a lot quicker, different suspension, and the GT Performance Edition has MagneRide, and that's what we're in. So we're going to go for a drive and see the real differences and see if we can, feel the difference in acceleration and handling.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to try our first freeway on-ramp with the GT Performance Edition.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wow. BlueCruise on. Watch the road. Be prepared to resume control.
Of course, I'm going way under the speed limit, so I'm going to adjust it with just a click of a button. We'll just go the speed limit. Hands-free is on. It says hands-free. Different from the normal intelligent cruise control. Not hugely, but it has a big hands-free thing. The infrared cameras, the things, are tracking my eyes and making sure I'm looking straight ahead, and I am very much so, because this is the first time I'm trying it out. Makes me a bit nervous.
It makes me a bit nervous.
Yeah, it's part of it is because there's traffic and you got to be ready. But yeah, BlueCruise is working. This is my first experience with BlueCruise. It's coming to our first edition via an over-the-air update in the next couple of months, but we do not have it yet. So this is a nice way to experience it before we get it. Very straight road. We got a curve coming up, so it's not a sharp curve. It is on the freeway. We do want to see how it handles that. And I would like to change lanes, but I don't want to do that while we're coming onto the curve. I want to see what it does with the curve. It adapted the speed down because the car up there is going a bit slower. And it's not telling me to take over. It's handling the curve. Fairly decent curve, really. And it's not telling me to take over. So like some of the first videos of BlueCruise, people were criticizing because it couldn't even handle a freeway curve. And this is pretty substantial. And it's very smooth. Like, I think it's not choppy or anything like that. Very smooth in the way it's handling the curve. And here's our second one.
It's actually terrifying me a bit because like I feel the car just taking care of us.
Yeah.
And then I look over and you're not.
Yeah, it's an odd feeling. But yeah, it's handling it no problem. Fairly substantial curve, no issue whatsoever.
It is certainly disconcerting with cars around you. Like, I'm always waiting for someone to come into the lane.
Yeah.
You know, move over and not realize you're there.
It does not handle lane changes. So to do a lane change, I turn my blinker on. It lets me make the lane change. I turn my blinker off. Still keep my hand on the steering wheel. And then now hands-free is back on. And it's a little bit too far to the right. So I'm going to adjust it over to the left. Still wants to go to the right. Now it's doing hands-free for me. So, and I adjusted it over to the left, and it knows that that's my preference, and it will stay further over to the left.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
It may take a little bit longer for me to train it in some situations, but yeah, that when it was over, I moved it over a little bit, and it's like, oh, okay, this is where you want to stay.
Oh, jeez. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Not sure what I got on camera there.
That's gonna
Pretty
be
sure it was sideways. Oh gosh. Okay. So first impression.
First impressions. We haven't driven the GT Performance Edition much, and we'll probably go for a longer drive later today. But just getting it out on the freeway, a couple of city streets, things that I was worried about with the GT Performance Edition, I was worried that the suspension would be rough. So far, I don't feel like it's that huge. It's sporty compared to my old WRX. It's better than that. Compared to the First Edition, I don't think it's necessarily as bouncy. It's definitely firmer. Handled the on-ramp very nicely. We'll have to test that out more. But for driving around, I was worried the GT would be like, oh God, I don't like this.
I didn't notice.
But I think it feels nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and the cushy seats certainly help.
Yeah. You know, and that's part of it is like, I don't know if it necessarily handled the curve that much better, which I think it did, but it also is just a lot easier to handle the curve when you have bolstering on your seat. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
In unbridled mode, the accelerator definitely feels, I wouldn't say touchy, but yeah, touchy. You really get into the power quickly, and it is very easy to tap into a lot of power. So in the First Edition, I feel like switching between engaged and unbridled, there's a difference. I would say it's more subtle than in the GT Performance Edition. Like I switched to engaged because we're now on the city streets, and it feels very manageable. It's not like there's like, oh my God, there's too much power that I have to worry about. You know, I can't just smash on the accelerator. Wow, the GT looks really good in the reflection over there.
It does. Let's get that quick.
Okay.
That looks beautiful. And now moving. That'll be good. Wow. Not half bad. For me, the Mach-E that we have is already almost too powerful for me. Like, I struggle with how accessible power is in the accelerator and the brake. Like,
we'll try whisper mode.
Okay. So I struggle with that in our Mach-E. So the GT already, like, our Mach-E already is too powerful for me almost. This GT is like, wow. It's that kind of disconcerting push that some superpowered EVs have. Obviously, the Tesla that we've been in, can't wait to get into the Audi and the Mercedes. I'm sure they have that like instant torque so powerful that it's sickening. And of course, the the Plaid that we're gonna get in. I don't love that feeling. I don't love that feeling. As a passenger, it's super disconcerting.
And now I'm in whisper mode, and I think it's way more manageable and more suited. And I hardly ever use whisper mode on our First Edition, but I think if we had a GT Performance Edition, I might be in whisper mode more. Engage still feels pretty good. It's that unbridled really feels a step above.
Shockingly powerful.
And we're not going to go into like the track mode.
He's definitely driving it like it's super powered, which it is.
Yeah, with any EV, the torque being there is really nice. We're in whisper mode now, and there's still plenty of torque to get across the intersection, make a tight left turn while cars were coming. Otherwise, yeah, it feels very, very comfortable. Feels very similar to our Mach-E. We're going to go ahead and head back so that other people can get a chance.
As a passenger, these seats are really lovely. The power, like I said, disconcerting and uncomfortable to feel. But, and this is not just, of course, a GT thing. BlueCruise looked amazing.
BlueCruise is cool.
That is super cool. And the fact that we're going to get it, I feel like it's sort of like we got new phones, right? But sometimes you don't even have to get a new phone. You can just wipe your old phone and it feels brand new. And so something as simple as changing something around, or changing the operating system, or updating your phone, that's what we're going to get. We're going to get this complete update that gives us the same device but completely refreshed. And I feel like our car is going to feel like this one just from that. Yeah,
it's good. It's going to be nice to get the update.
So the impression that I get is, if you're spending this much on a car, why not get this and spend a little more? But how much more is this than ours?
So this one is probably close to $14,000 more than a premium that's equivalent to ours. We paid for the first edition, so it's a good bit more than what we paid. So is that worth it? It depends on you. The range is not, you don't take as big of a hit on the range as I was worried about. So that's actually a very positive thing. This one gets EPA 260 miles of range.
Yeah, we initially thought it was going to be quite a lot less, like kind of assumed 240. We're pulling into the parking lot now. I do have to say, so if the price difference is $14,000 between our premium and this GT, I've been looking at used EVs that cost $14,000. So if the price difference means that I get a used EV that we can, putter around town in, that is significant. That's significant. You can get a used Leaf, you can get a Kia Niro EV. The Kia Soul EV is currently sort of one of my tops, and you can get that for about $16,000 if you go for like a 2015. So you can basically get a Mach-E Premium Edition and a Kia Soul EV for the price of this vehicle.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, when you start talking about, it's like, oh, it's only 14 more or 10 more or 5 more.
If you put it in context,
yeah,
that's a big deal, actually. We are in the GT Grabber Blue Mustang Mach-E. Gorgeous. It's basically the GT version of our EV. We started out the day in the Cyber Orange Performance Edition GT, and there's definitely a difference. The first thing that we noticed is certainly it's a firmer, bumpier ride. You can tell the difference with the MagneRide.
Yeah, I think the MagneRide handles bumps better, and you can adjust it. I think in whisper mode it feels softer, but this is non-adjustable.
We're going to take it out on the streets, see if we can find some bumpy roads, which is pretty much immediately the moment we get out this parking lot. So we'll be testing it out properly. Oh.
It has power.
Yeah. Would I have thought this was so bumpy if I didn't know? I think so. This is bumpy. In comparison. In comparison. How's that?
It feels just like GT Performance Edition. I know it's a tiny bit slower, but it feels great.
I think this does feel bumpier.
I think so.
Yeah. But does ours feel this bumpy?
No, ours feels bouncy. This feels bumpy.
It does feel bumpy. But I wouldn't think bumpy. It's just I'm trying to see if I can understand the bumpiness that people talk about, and I can. Right? Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't get in and be like, oh, this is bumpy. We're back inside the Performance Edition Mustang Mach-E GT, this beautiful cyber orange. We got to spend the whole night basically in the Grabber Blue Standard Performance Edition, and we just really want to test this out again, see is it worth it, just make totally sure of what we think. I think we know, but we want to make totally sure. So where are we going?
Just a normal drive, sort of. I think we'll get on the freeway. I wish we could find some zippy roads. I'm going to try, but we don't want to take it out too long because other people are trying to drive this today, other YouTubers. So we'll see what we can get up to.
Yeah, let's go. Holy cow.
Very nice ride. Yeah, it is a significant difference.
Yeah.
Whispered should be even a little bit more comfortable. So let's do that for a bit. I don't normally drive in Whisper in our first edition, but with the adjustable suspension, we'll see how this feels doing Whisperwood. It feels very nice, like not very, very smooth. Mercedes EQS that we drove yesterday was very smooth.
Noticeably smoother than the
BlueCruise.
Performance. Oh my God.
On a curve.
We are curving. We are curving right
And
now.
I'm watching straight ahead. And notice that I have sunglasses on and it's still able to track my eyes. I'm not going to do any tests of how well it tracks my eyes or my attention, but just so you know, BlueCruise is on and seems to be fine.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow.
And that was a really nice, fun angle, applying a lot of power, and it was no problem at all.
I'm really surprised you didn't kick out the back end.
Yeah, I was
Right?
sort of waiting to see, because I've done some quicker accelerations with our first edition, and you get the tire squill that we're well aware of, or well known for, or it's well known for.
Yeah, also it seemed to grip the road really well. I mean, nothing like the EQS, or the Audi.
The Audi,
but,
not the
yeah,
EQS,
nothing like the Audi, but
This has summer tires on it,
good.
so just that alone probably helps significantly. There's that.
This is worlds above the other one.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to the other one. I would never even consider the regular Performance. I mean, the regular GT. You know what I mean? Like, it's either premium or Performance.
We just drove the GT Performance Edition for the second time. Yesterday we got 2 times in the regular GT. What do you think? What's your initial thoughts?
I had a lot of initial thoughts, and now having spent a good couple hours in the regular GT, I feel like don't even consider that one. You have to go Performance. And I didn't think I would say that because $14,000 between the Performance GT and our premium Mach-E basically is huge, but there's no point in going in the middle. This is so significantly better than the regular GT. The ride is smoother. You can feel the power.
And it's not even the power difference. It's almost all down to MagneRide. MagneRide is awesome.
Phenomenal.
Very, very, very pleased with how it feels and the different modes. And with the summer tires, granted, like it handles so good. We're sort of torn. Like this could be a very, very fun car for us, but I don't know if we would justify it. And I'll be 100% honest. I don't know if we would justify it if we didn't have the YouTube channel.
That's the kicker. That's the kicker. I think that our Mach-E, our premium, basically, the first edition, is epic. It's amazing. It's excellent. It's everything you need.
It's quick. It handles
It's
pretty
comfortable,
well.
smooth.
Yeah, good ride. So the differences between the two after driving them, obviously seats are different. These hug you a bit more, but as far as performance, you can feel that acceleration, even like at freeway speeds, you can feel that, yeah, it's a lot faster. GT and GT Performance Edition felt exactly the same if you ask me acceleration wise.
But the ride felt way different, especially as a passenger.
The first edition, I would say it feels like when you go over bumps and you get that like little bit extra, so it's like a bouncy ride. The GT was more bumpy ride.
It was.
And that what I mean by that is like when you're going, you go, you know, and it's not jarring. It's not as bad as the Model Y, in my opinion. And I think the Model Y ride is not great. But then this one.
And part of this is because we're filming. So the camera that he's holding right now is the camera that I will often hold in the car.
It's a GoPro.
Yeah, the GoPro. And I have to try to keep it steady. And last night when we were filming, it was a little harder. Like it was a little bumpier. Today, it's significantly noticeable. And we drove some really high-end cars yesterday. We were in the Mercedes EQS, the Audi RS e-tron GT. And so we really wanted to get back in this and see how it fell. And it's doing really well. It's doing really well, in my opinion.
Yeah, and just, this is supposed to be sort of about the Mach-E only, but just so you know, and we'll have videos up for all the cars that we drove, comparing the Mach-E to some of these other cars. We drove an Audi RS e-tron GT that's $140,000 to $160 some thousand. Yeah, it's an excellent car. We drove an EQS that's a $100,000 car, and to be quite honest, the Mach-E stock, compares very well.
Especially the Performance GT, and it almost feels like it's a whole different car to our car. It almost feels like it's a couple of years ahead or something. Yeah. Like this is upgraded, it's next level.
Yeah, that's
Not
true.
to say that ours is bad, but it's almost like this is a more tailored, more finessed. It's really noticeable, and I promise I was like, will we notice a difference? We really need to get back into it. Instantly, I don't know if you need it.
Comparing to the Audi, like I said, it's like 2 to 3 times the cost of the Mach-E, or 2.5 to 3 times the cost. So yeah, it was nicer, but is it 2.5 to 3 times the cost? I don't think I would do it, but
No.
so yeah, I think the Mach-E GT Performance Edition is great value for the money. I think the Mach-E Premium is great value for the money. Just depends on sort of what direction you want to go with your driving and what your preferences are, your driving styles, your comfort levels. But I'm excited. I like if we don't upgrade, I'm super excited and super happy that we have our Mach-E First Edition, which is like the premium. Super happy to have it. I'm super happy that we have a Grabber Blue. But I could see if we could ever make the numbers work, that I wouldn't mind having this as well, even with the added cost, because we are budget conscious.
Yeah, because ultimately the cost and upgrade is also the same amount that it could cost to get me a used EV. The Kia Soul EV, the BMW i3. There are lots of used EVs that could cost around $14,000 to $18,000, which is what it would cost to upgrade to the GT. So Patrick said earlier, it's not something we would necessarily consider if we didn't have a YouTube, and that's true, because if you guys are insanely, amazingly interested in us getting a GT Performance Edition, then that does help us decide more. But I don't think we need it. I don't think you need it. It's a wonderful car as it is, the premium.
We did get a shout out from Sandy Monroe on his channel, and we could we could take a lead from him. He sold bumper stickers as like a fundraiser so that they could buy a Tesla Model S Plaid. So it's like, compared to that, this is like a bargain. I'm just teasing. But yeah, it is a consideration that, like, if there's a big demand for us to make GT Performance Edition videos, road trip videos, and to be honest, we're not the type that are gonna like, let's take it to the track.
No. And I mean, like you said, we would more likely be doing very realistic driving, daily driving, road trips, couple, popping up to the mountains kind of stuff. We're not going to be putting it on the track. So if you're interested in seeing a GT Performance Edition doing that stuff, we'll see.
Let us know. You can comment below.
I've gone all over the place this whole weekend. I was like, it's not worth it. No. But honestly, I almost feel like the regular GT doesn't exist, and it's just the premium and then the GT Performance Edition, because like it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, we should probably get this car back so that other people can enjoy it and make some content about it. So if you're looking for content on this particular car, we'll as we see the other creators make their videos, we'll drop their info below so that you can see a bunch of videos with this car and what they thought about it. They're not like we're the only Mach-E people that are making content this weekend. The other people have ID4s, Tesla, not sure what all else. But anyways,
a multitude of stuff, and it's been really awesome watching smiles on people's faces, especially when the last person dropped us off. Big smile on his face. So that's fun.
So we're gonna get this back. Thank you for watching. Let us know what you think about all of this down below in the comments. Make sure you give it a big like and share it, and subscribe.
Yeah, do that. And also, just remember that whatever you drive, whether it be a GT or just a regular premium, enjoy your ride.
All right. Bye.